Welcome viewers, we are back once again. Now let's look at here the heart. This is the posterior inferior view of the heart. Here we see this is the aortic arch. This is superior vena cava. This one is a right pulmonary artery. This is right pulmonary veins. These are circumflex branches. This is inferior vena cava. This part is the left auricle, this part is the right atrium. This is left atrium. Now we see over here these are right coronary arteries. So these are the coronary arteries which actually supply the blood to the heart muscles, means cardiac muscles. This part is left ventricle. There is a middle cardiac vein over here. This is right ventricle over here. And here we see interventricular artery. This is great cardiac vein. So this is all about circulatory system, the circulation of the heart. These are anatomical diagrams often useful for the competitive exams. Now we come to the digestive system. The digestive system over here. Let's first see the three parts of the pharynx. The nasopharynx, this is the upper part. The oropharynx, this is the middle part. And the laryngopharynx, this is the lower part. So this part is the pharynx. This one over here. Right over here. So you see there are Waldear's rings in the pharyngeal tonsils. So they are what kind of things? The pharyngeal tonsils, tubal tonsils, then palatine tonsils, lingual tonsils. Now here there are salivary glands, the parotid glands, the pair of sublingual glands over here below the tongue. And below the mandibles we see the submandibular glands. Now the digestive system, the alimentary canal starts from the mouth, then the esophagus, then comes the stomach. Here we see the liver. This is the largest gland in the body. This is pancreas, this yellowish colored. Here we see the greenish one is the gallbladder. Now from here the C-shaped loop of duodenum starts and the duodenum enters into the ileum and jejunum and ileum of the small intestine. The small intestine ends over here. From here starts the large intestine. The first part is cecum. Then comes colon. Colon is the longest part of the large intestine. This is ascending colon. This is transverse colon, this is descending colon, and this one, this is almost this shape, this is sigmoid colon, and here the end of the digestive tract, that is rectum. This part is anus. The largest internal gland is the liver. It is covered by two sheaths, the outer serous capsule and the inner one is Gleason's capsule. The left and right lobes are separated by falciform ligament. We will see it later in the figure of the liver. The hepatic lobules are the structural and functional units of the liver. The major cells of the liver are the hepatocytes, which are called liver parenchyma cells, and the Kupffer cells, which are also stellate cells, which are phagocytic in nature. The duct of the gallbladder is called cystic duct, which joins the hepatic duct, means duct from the liver lobes. They together form a bile duct to join the main pancreatic duct, forming ampulla of Vater. The bile is a juice secreted from the liver. It has a pH of 8.6, means alkaline. It's viscous. It's greenish yellow in color. It's very bitter in taste. Now, the bile contains bile salts, bile pigments, cholesterol and phospholipid. The functions of the bile are emulsification of fats, neutralization of HCl secreted from the stomach. The excretion of bile pigments is the third function. It activates lipases is the fourth function, and then the detoxification is one of the major functions of the liver. Now coming to pancreas, pancreas is the second largest gland. It's exocrine as well as endocrine. The exocrine part of pancreas is called acini, which contains alkaline pancreatic juice, is secreted from here. It has a pH of 8.4. And the endocrine part is known as islets of Langerhans, which contains beta cells, alpha cells, delta cells. The alpha cells secrete a hormone called glucagon, beta cells secrete insulin, and the delta cells secrete gastrin and somatostatin. So these are the parts of alimentary canal. Now coming to next figure, this is lungs. So please subscribe my channel if you haven't done it so far. These are the important diagrams which are in lot of use in anatomy, human anatomy. If you don't know the exact location of the parts mentioned over here, you will face great problems in questions related to location. Now this is respiratory system. Here we see the nasal cavity. Now here the pharyngeal opening over here. This is nasopharynx, this is oropharynx, this is laryngopharynx. So these are the three parts of the pharynx. This is larynx or the voice box. From the larynx, the down comes trachea. Trachea means the main windpipe. These are C-shaped cartilaginous rings. This one, look over here, these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. These are C-shaped rings. Now the trachea is divided into two parts. The two bronchi. Now here they go into the lungs. These are the left and right lungs. The left lung has 3 lobes and the right lung, this is the left lung. The left lung has 2 lobes and the right lung has 3 lobes. The lobes are superior, middle and inferior. And here the superior and the inferior lobe. This is the diaphragm. Diaphragm is the muscle. This helps during respiration or breathing. Now the left and right bronchus, they enter into the lungs. They divide into bronchioles and further they divide into alveoli or air sacs. This part is known as mediastinum because here the heart lies. This is the cardiac notch of the heart. So here the lung is slightly notched, arched. Here the heart is positioned. This part is known as mediastinum. And these are the costodiaphragmatic recess, this part. Now, how are the vertebrae located in the respiratory tract? Here, the location of the vertebrae. T4, T5, T6, T7. T means thoracic. These are the thoracic vertebrae. So there are 12 thoracic vertebrae: T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9, T10, T11, T12. Like this they are located. Coming to the next diagram, we come to the skull. The skull is like this. As you can see, these are the sutures, immovable joints of the skull. This is a lateral view of the skull. This is here there is a mental foramen. This is a mental tubercle. Here we see this one. This is orbitomeatal plane. This is frontal part. Here there we see the coronal suture. Here there is a pterion. The sphenoid bone lies over here. What is so special about sphenoid bone? Inside the sphenoid bone there is pituitary gland. This is tympanic part. This is Wormian bone. So these are the details the anatomical details of the skull. Now coming to the larynx and the trachea. See, this is the hyoid bone of the tongue. This is epiglottis. This is thyrohyoid membrane. This is thyroid cartilage of the larynx. This is cricothyroid muscle. This is cricoid cartilage. This whole thing is the larynx. From the larynx down comes trachea. These are the C-shaped rings. This is in color. So our next diagram comes to mainly excretory system. In the excretory system we see the kidney over here. These are called renal columns of Bertini. This is renal cortex, this part. This part is the renal cortex. These are made up of red dots of glomerulus capillaries. These are renal pelvis, this part. This is minor calyx, this is major calyx. These are called renal papillae. From the pelvis downward, the ureter comes out. These are renal pyramids. This is the coronal section of the human kidney. Here we see the nephron. This is a figure of the nephron. This is the Bowman's capsule. This is glomerulus. This is afferent arteriole. This is efferent arteriole. The afferent arteriole is slightly or much larger, much wider than the efferent arteriole. This is proximal convoluted tubule. Now from there downwards there is a U-shaped structure called loop of Henle. Surrounding the loop of Henle there is peritubular capillaries which go down forming vasa recta. Now here there is distal convoluted tubule, DCT. The DCT ends in collecting duct. These are the veins. This is interlobar vein. This is interlobar artery. These are arcuate artery and veins. These are the main artery and veins of the kidneys. Now here we see details. So interlobar arteries, arcuate arteries, lobar arteries, posterior segmental arteries, interlobar arteries and segmental arteries. These are anterior view. This whole figure. This is the simplest way to draw a nephron. Coming to the liver. As I told you, in the liver we will see the falciform ligament over here. This is the falciform ligament which separates the lobes. This is the right lobe. This is the left lobe. Here we see round ligament. This is also known as ligamentum teres. This is gallbladder, this green one. This is the right lobe. Here there is left triangular ligament. Now coming to further details. There are actually 4 lobes. This is the third lobe, this is caudate lobe, and this one is quadrate lobe of the liver. Now here we see portal triad. Portal triad means here we find 3 things. One is hepatic portal vein, this one. This one is hepatic artery, and this one is hepatic vein. They 3 together form a portal triad. Here there is a caudate process, and the green one is the gallbladder. This is the postero-inferior view of the liver. Now the skull in color. Just go through. Have a look. These are all drawn figures, drawn specifically for the examinees who are going to appear for their competitive exams. As you go in details, you will find many things useful for you. So we come to the next. See, the muscles. The back muscles. This is brachioradialis. This is brachialis anticus. the deltoid, rear deltoid. This is sternocleidomastoid, teres minor, teres major. From here to here we have trapezius. This is latissimus dorsi. This is infrasupinatus, rhomboideus major. This is the gluteus medius, gluteus maximus. Adductor magnus. Here we find gracilis muscles. Here the legs, the bicep femoris. This is vastus lateral. This is semimembranosus. These are popliteal space. This one's gastrocnemius muscle. This is soleus. This is peroneus longus. So the gist of many muscles here you can see. How do you find it? Easy, isn't it? Very difficult to remember. Now coming to the brain. The brain. Here it is in picture. See the brain. The very details of the brain. This is the entire cerebral hemisphere. The choroid plexus over here, from where cerebrospinal fluid is produced. This is the forebrain. Here the cerebellum. This is the pons. This is medulla oblongata. This part is the brain stem. The midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata, they together form the brain stem. Now coming to the divisions of the brain. The brain is divided into forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain is prosencephalon, midbrain is mesencephalon, hindbrain is rhombencephalon. The prosencephalon is further divided into telencephalon and diencephalon. The telencephalon contains cerebral cortex, basal ganglia, olfactory system, hippocampus, amygdala, limbic system, corpus triatum. The diencephalon contains the thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, etc. Now the mesencephalon has got three parts. The tectum containing colliculi. Colliculi means hill. The superior and inferior colliculi which help in vision and hearing. The cerebral peduncles that connects the forebrain with the hindbrain. And the third part is tegmentum, which is a Latin word for hood. Tegmentum means hood. It contains red nucleus and periaqueductal gray. The red nucleus is red because it is iron rich. It coordinates the movements, and periaqueductal gray suppresses pain. In between the peduncles and the tegmentum is a layer called substantia nigra, which contains melanin. It produces dopamine. The four colliculi, called corpora quadrigemina, in Latin is quadruplet bodies. Coming to the rhombencephalon or the hindbrain, it contains two parts, metencephalon and myelencephalon. Metencephalon, the cerebellum and the pons, and myelencephalon contains medulla oblongata, which contains fourth ventricle and posterior choroid plexus. Here we find Broca's area and Wernicke's area. Wernicke's area is over here, Broca's area over here in the brain. Broca's area is present in the frontal part. It helps in motor speech. And Wernicke's area is present in the temporal part. It helps in speech comprehension. In between these two, they are connected by arcuate fasciculus, which connects these two parts with white matter. Now this is cerebellum. The parts of the cerebellum are this one, the upper part is called lingula. This is spinocerebellum. This is cerebrocerebellum. and this is vestibulocerebellum. Vestibulocerebellum contains flocculonodular lobe. This is nodule. The vestibulocerebellum is composed of lingula and flocculonodular lobe. This is the phylogenetic division of cerebellum. What are they? The archicerebellum, the paliocerebellum, and the neocerebellum. Archicerebellum maintains equilibrium. The paliocerebellum helps in muscle tone and posture. And neocerebellum is the latest part that helps in coordination of skillful movements. The gyri and sulci, probably you may know it. What are the gyri and sulci? They give the brain a wrinkled appearance. Gyri are the folds of the cerebral cortex with a core of white matter, and the furrows or grooves or depressions are called sulci. These gyri and sulci increase the surface area and cognitive ability of a person. Coming to human reproductive system. The reproductive system, this is the testis in sagittal and transverse section. These are the parts. This is called tunica albuginea. This is tunica vaginalis, which contains of two layers, visceral layer and parietal layer. These are seminiferous tubules from where the retitestis arise from here. From the retitestis, the vasa efferentia comes out. From there, the epididymis is formed. The epididymis has three parts. What are the three parts? Cauda epididymis, corpus epididymis, and caput epididymis. Caput means head. This is head part, this is tail part, and this is middle part. From there goes the vas deferens or the sperm duct. The testicular lobules, there are about 250 compartments. Each lobule has 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. These are lobules, each of them has 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules. Inside each seminiferous tubules, there are male germ cells called spermatogonia and the Sertoli cells called nurse cells, which provide nutrition to the germ cells. At puberty, in males at puberty, what happens? The spermatogonia is a diploid cell that undergoes mitosis and differentiation to form primary spermatocytes. These primary spermatocytes undergo meiosis 1 or reduction division to form 2 N cells. Each of them form 2 N cells, means haploid cells, called secondary spermatocytes. They undergo meiosis 2 to form spermatids. And the spermatids undergo differentiation, that is called spermiogenesis, to form spermatozoa or sperms. This is according to NCERT. The NCERT diagrams over here. Let's have a look. This is the male reproductive system. This is the enlarged end of the penis called glans penis. This is the foreskin. This is a fold of skin covering the glans of the penis. This is testis, whose length is 4 to 5 centimeter, width is 2 to 3 centimeter. It has 250 compartments called lobules. Each of these has 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules, which are coiled structures. The testes are present in the scrotum, which helps maintain a low temperature, 2 to 2.5 centimeter lower than our body temperature, that is necessary for spermatogenesis. The sperm, the sperm is present in the secretion called semen. The seminal plasma contains fructose, calcium, and many enzymes. The region outside the seminiferous tubules is called interstitial spaces, which contains the Leydig cells, which secrete androgens. There are many types of androgens there. These are seminiferous tubules. The secretions of epididymis, vas deferens, prostate gland, seminal vesicles are essential for maturation and motility of the sperm. This is the diagram of the sperm. The head part, this one is the head. It contains acrosome. Acrosome is filled with enzymes that help the sperm to enter the ovum cytoplasm through corona radiata, zona pellucida and plasma membrane. This is the nucleus containing chromosomal material which is haploid. This one is neck. This is the middle piece which contains mitochondrial spiral, which is the energy source for swimming of the sperm through the ovum in the female tract. A male ejaculates about 200 to 300 million sperms during coitus. Now this is the figure of fertilization. Here the ovum is there. The ovum has got these membranes. This is corona radiata, this is zona pellucida. The sperm enters by giving out their acrosomal enzymes, which contains hyaluronidase, which dissolves the hyaluronic acid of the ovum membrane. So this is all about it. This is the female reproductive tract. Here you see external genitalia, collectively called vulva. These are the parts of the external genitalia. This is mons pubis. This is prepuce of the clitoris. This is glans clitoridis, this part. This is labia majora. These are the lower lips, labia minora. Labia majora are the greater lips, labia minora are the lower lips. This is urethral opening and this is vaginal orifice. Now this part is called perineum. Here you see anus, here there is fourchette. Now here you see the ligaments. Broad ligament of uterus has got three parts. Mesosalpinx, it is supportive of the oviducts. Mesometrium, it is most inferior and largest part of the broad ligament. It supports the uterine body. It regulates arterial supply. And the third one is mesovarium, which supports the ovaries. Here you see the fundus of the uterus. This is mesosalpinx. This is ovarian ligament. This part is mesovarium. And this is mesometrium. This is the ovary. The ovary has got primary follicles which grow bigger and bigger and produce a Graafian follicle. The Graafian follicle releases its egg outside by the process of ovulation, and then the remnant of the Graafian follicle changes into a yellowish body called corpus luteum. The corpus luteum slowly regresses and forms corpus albicans. So this is the whole female reproductive tract. So this is it, all about the anatomy and physiology. Now here we end. Please subscribe and please share the video to as many people as possible so that they can also get the same benefit as you are getting. Thank you. Thanks a lot.